Now, as the Biden administration works to end Title 42, thousands of migrants who were turned away because of the border policy are now waiting to be brought into the country. According to a new report from the Princeton Policy Advisors research firm, border apprehensions have risen 6 times the normal number under President Biden, and the number of people without appropriate documentation coming to official crossing points reached nearly 250,000 people. Let's bring in National Border Patrol Council Vice President Art Cueto. Give me your reaction to what's going on at the border, Art.
Completely chaotic right now, and no one's doing anything about it. People in the administration up at the White House that just refuse to admit there's a problem to begin with. We have a border czar that hasn't visited the border. We have agents being moved from one area where, you know, it's a high volume of individuals that are entering the country and drugs that are coming in, and they're being put in administrative areas so they can just process faster. We have a budget coming down, and the majority of that money is going to be so they can process faster and release people. And if you go ahead and ask ICE, they don't have any record of where these people have been getting released. You can go as far back as the Obama administration, when you had the huge influx of unaccompanied juveniles that were coming into the United States back then. All those juveniles are now adults. Ask ICE where those juveniles are. No one's keeping track of anything. It's completely chaotic.
What would fix this, Art? Because I know that those of you who are familiar with the border, have worked with the border, must watch all this unfolding, and you know what the solutions are. And whether Washington wants to use those solutions is another question, but I'm kind of curious hearing from you what you think would fix this.
No, I'm glad you asked that. Look, I was born on the border. I grew up on the border. I was raised on the border. I've lived my entire life on the border, and I work on the border. So I can tell you right now, the policies is what's going to fix it. You need policies. Enough of this political back and forth, because the drug dealers don't care whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or whatever side of the aisle you're on. They just want to bring product across, and they want to harm Americans. So right now, what it's going to take is the right policies. Remain in Mexico is humongous. Obviously, the Title 42 is something that's helped, but it's a small help compared to what they can do if they bring back Remain in Mexico. That'll deter individuals from trying to come across and make false claims of asylum. And at the same time, it will take the agents out of the processing centers and put them back on the lines where they can be defending from dangerous drugs and individuals with, you know, more extensive criminal backgrounds from entering the United States. It's policy.
Okay, let's talk about in El Paso. Texas National Guard has been putting up a barbed wire fence along the Rio Grande. We're also learning that there has been a noticeable drop in the number of migrant crossings. Is that a solution, or is that just, okay, you have the barbed wire there, we'll go somewhere else?
They'll go somewhere else, but what it does do is it helps the agency be able to put agents in areas where these individuals can be funneled through. But at the same time, you're seeing some of these numbers that may look like they're going down, but a lot of it is because, you know, they go somewhere else where they know they can get away, when they can come across and not get apprehended. And you look at Tucson sector, which continues to lead the country when it comes to gotaways. And what they've done is sent agents from Tucson sector to Texas to help with the processing, and at the same time sent some of the apprehensions from Yuma to Tucson to help process here. So what are you doing? You're stripping the line just to help process. It just doesn't make any sense operationally.
Let's talk about another problem, criminal migrants. I wanted to get your take on, according to Border Patrol, this past fiscal year saw nearly 7,000 criminal alien encounters at the border, and Donald Trump's last year was barely 1,000. We've been hearing anecdotal reports of illegal migrants breaking into homes in Texas also. What's your take on this?
Look at the numbers nationwide. When President Trump was in office, the Border Patrol, where they were averaging between 1,000 and 1,200 apprehensions a day, more or less. Then it immediately jumped under the Biden administration to over 5,000 apprehensions a day. Right now, they're sitting at over 8,000 apprehensions. And with a lot of the agents doing administrative work, processing, there's more and more groups that are coming in, going through. It's the famous gotaways that we've talked about. And, you know, how do you fix it? Obviously, it's through policy. That's what you got to do. And I talk to the men and women out there each and every day. And I'm going to tell you something. This is what hurts. This is what the problem is. I wish the politicians in Washington that keep ignoring the problem would love this country as much as these Border Patrol agents that are out there risking their lives every day love this country.
Yeah, Art, I don't know if we can take a look at those graphics again, but when I first heard the numbers where they had gone down so much of the Trumps last year, I thought, well, yeah, that was a COVID year. Can we put that graphic back up? Because I thought, well, that's because COVID, the economy was bad, there were no jobs. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. COVID was really bad in 2021, and it zoomed like 6 times what we had, Art.
That's something that I did want to point out, and you're absolutely right. During the time that COVID first hit, okay, the ports of entries were closed. So individuals that had legal passports, legal crossing cards, they were prevented from entering the United States. However, in between the ports, that's when you were getting caravan after caravan. Those people were getting released. And at the same time, when they were pushing the COVID vaccine, even on agents themselves, the individuals that were coming in illegally and getting released in the United States were not asked for any vaccination papers, not even tuberculosis, hepatitis, much less COVID vaccines. It's very hypocritical of what's been happening in this administration for the last 2 years.
Yeah, and by the way, folks, you could also say that's when you enforce Title 42, those lower numbers. That's actually why you want Title 42 to be enforced. Art Del Cueto, thank you so much, sir. We appreciate your insight and your visiting us. Thank you.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the
truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They let
me decide.
Newsmax.
Real news
For real people.